Dave Domenico in the Room podcast with Knuckle Fighting Championship heavyweight title holder Joey Beltran, the Mexicutioner. Joey, welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Things are going well, all things considered, obviously with the coronavirus and everything, but I've been very fortunate to still be able to train, still have access to gyms, and a couple sparring partners. And so things are going good, man. I'm all set to go, just waiting to get the final word on, honestly, I mean, personally, everything is kind of banking on this weekend. If we can pull this off as an organization, and everything is good and runs safe, well, then I'm very confident that I'll be up to go in August.
Excellent. Well, you talked about still staying active, having training partners, getting your work in. You had a fight scheduled for April to defend that title. How you been keeping busy? How did the corona and the shutdown of the gyms affect your training, if at all, if it affected it?
Well, I mean, honestly, it was definitely very disheartening when the fight got pulled. Kind of left me in a state of limbo for a couple months, and it was really hard for me to I generally always stay active in the gym, but there's a different you get the eye of the tiger when you have a date lined up. Yeah. You have a name of a date, as opposed to, well, I'm just training because I probably will have something at the end of July or the August, or I don't know. So once things started turning around and the communication started opening up again between my manager and David Feldman, then shit got serious as far as the gym. But I was pretty active throughout. I always had access to gyms. It was just a matter of sparring. So for about the first month, like when shit hit the fan back in March, from March until about like mid-April, I was basically just training solo, just doing, riding the bike, running, doing bag work by myself and stuff like that. Because even my main coach at the time, he had a brand new baby, so he very well couldn't put himself in the line of danger, and I understandably so, with brand new baby at home. So it was just me. But, like I said, I've always been really good throughout the whole years in MMA and everything, keeping myself accountable and staying on top of stuff. So,
well, the thing is, no one really gained ground on you because it was shut down everywhere. So it wasn't like fighters were getting in work. You kind of all were in the same ball game here. You all had to make your own gyms, kind of. You couldn't work out at your own gyms where, most of you fighters have business and make your living. How did that affect you? I know you have your own team. I know you have kids you train. I know you probably have your own fight team and kids under your wing that you're bringing along in either MMA, boxing, or whatever. How did that affect you not being able to, do your everyday thing with them?
Well, I mean, honestly, like for about the first month, everybody was really cautious. Everybody was really careful, especially touch base first on my team of amateurs that I help. I'm my girlfriend's assistant coach, because she actually officially works at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Oceanside, and I just help her out with the MMA fight team. And so we were out in Vegas on the weekend of March 14th, and Vegas was still open and popping. I mean, we were at the strip club, we were hanging out, we were having a good old time.
Yeah.
And then we get back to California on Monday, and boom, it was like a bomb. Everything shut down. All the gyms shut down, and society itself shut down. So it was like, fuck. So, my mom is about to turn 70 this year, so fuck, I stayed away. I locked myself up in the house for about 10 days or so, and then I was like, all right, we're good. We're no symptoms. Let's go out. And then luckily, the owner of my gym that I work at, he's like, hey, if you can get people that are still willing to train, you can still come in and train people one-on-one. I was like, say no more, man. So I was running shop, and once again for the first 2 weeks, I was seeing real socially distant, running my privates from far away, all right, showing them bag drills and still servicing the session, obviously, but no contact, no mitts. And after like 2 weeks, I was like, all right, fuck this. I started holding mitts. Then after like 6 weeks, I was like, dude, let's start training. You know, and we've basically been training and living normal life as far as myself, like training and sparring. You know, for a while before I had anything set up, I was doing jiu-jitsu and rolling on the regular. So, I mean, I wasn't doing. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's like everyone has their own different opinion.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I wasn't doing what I consider silly stuff. Like I wasn't going to hospitals. I wasn't going to like nursing homes. I wasn't going to like large gatherings. But I would be meeting up with like 5 or 6 guys and we were rolling around wrestling and sweating at each other.
Hey,
So it's like,
Joe,
so it's like, I don't know. So who's right or wrong in that? You know?
That's the fighting lifestyle. I mean, I've been interviewing fighters all through this pandemic, and it's the same thing. You know, they've had a few training partners that they've kept along the whole way, really quality training partners that they can get the work in, even though they miss like, developing other fighters and getting that camaraderie in the gym. They've had a nucleus keeping them ready because they've been waiting for, I mean, fighters want to fight. I mean, this is your livelihood. Most of you guys, this is how you make a living. So you want to get out there. So a lot of fighters been staying ready like yourselves with the little clusters of fighters. As far as this fight coming up, I mean, we have a fight on Friday. So, I mean, these fighters have been getting ready behind the scenes in their own little clusters. What are you thinking about? How are you feeling about now Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is back out? They're on, they're coming out free. They actually got the show is free Friday because they want everyone on board to check this out because this is the first card since the pandemic. What are you thinking about it and how excited are you to see them back in the game?
I mean, it's awesome, man. It's really exciting considering the fact that the only other show right now, the only other show in town is UFC, and they're the only ones that are putting stuff out. So, I mean, we're stepping up with the big boys right now, and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna put I mean, I know that all the fighters on the card. I mean, that main event itself. I mean, Luis Baboon versus anybody. Versus him versus Jim Eilers is going to be a banger. But, I mean, like, you could put him with literally with anybody, and it's going to be a crazy-ass fight. Because that's the way that guy's been fighting since I first seen him in, like, the original Bellator. The original OG Bellator series. And that guy's just an animal. So that's going to be and you got a bunch of, like, young up-and-comers that are looking to make their mark and jump in. So this shit's going to be good. It's going to be good. Now, Caleb Harris is on that show, right? Yeah. With Elvin Brito. So
excellent knockouts. Guys have been like had knockouts of the year. I mean, it's going to be an exciting show. Do you think it's a really smart move of David to make it a free event instead of charging? Do you think this is a real good move for BKFC?
I think so. I think definitely like. I think that us as employees are gonna do our due diligence to really spread the word. I know I am, like, because shit. At the end of the day, like, we need the company to thrive. We need the company to thrive so we have a place of employment. I'm spreading the word. I'm telling all my friends and family that get this, get on here. Because it's like, at the end of the day, once somebody watches BKFC, they're hooked. People can say all they want. Oh, it's brutal, it's bloody, blah blah blah. Like. It's our natural human instinct. Like once we see like the thing, like once you see a train wreck, you can't look away. Like once you see like 2 gladiators out there just fucking chucking them, blood flying, people get hooked.
Definitely. Let's talk a little bit about that difference between MMA and the bare knuckle boxing. You had multiple years, successful years for Bellator, for the UFC. You cross over into bare knuckle boxing. What was the crossover like? I mean, you didn't have to worry about the ground game and really focusing just on your hands. But as far as, bare knuckle and all that other stuff, what did you learn the difference between striking in the UFC or Bellator and striking in bare knuckle?
Well, the first fight with Tony Lopez truly was just stepping into the unknown, and just yeah, man, just like I was like, all right, we're fighting. Just started chucking him, and like before you knew it, he was cut. and I was cut, and then everybody's blood was everywhere. It was like, but it was like we both didn't really know any better, per se. And even in the second fight with Arnold Adams, it was like, bam, like literally like the first exchange, I think I literally had 3 cuts over my eye. Because I think because he had ashy knuckles, and so they were extra sharp and crusty. That's my
Is that
theory.
right? He had them all chapped up and stuff, and all like sandpaper.
That's what I think. That's what I think. But like no, like he credit to him, he cracked me first 20 seconds of the first round, and boom, I had 3 big cuts. And so I was like, fuck. After that fight, I lost that fight due to stoppage, and then after that fight, I was like, dude, I have to make a change. I can't just scrap. I can't just like And in a way I can, but like I have to be different. I gotta move my head. I gotta change angles. I gotta come in, just have my head off that center line. So definitely, went to the drawing board, changed it up a little, and I really feel like I'm hitting my stride. And this rule set with the dirty boxing and the fighting in the clinch is just tailor made for me. I mean, I don't think it's by any coincidence that I'm the heavyweight champion. Like I don't really think anybody can beat me at this rule set. I really don't.
Who helped you make that conversion from them? Have you had the same maybe boxing coach from the first fight up until your title win? Did you take on someone new to help you with the bare knuckle and adapt to that?
Well, no, man. Well, my original coach, his name's Adam Castro, and he's actually like my best friend. I was the best man at his wedding. He's been my homies since like 2nd and 3rd grade, And the funny story is like I took him with me. I drug him with me to my second MMA class ever, back in like 2005 or something like that. I was like, hey, come with me and do this. And then like I like jumped head first into the fighting, and he like jumped in head first, and he was always a student of the game and always like liked coaching, liked working with people. He liked that. He went that way. I went that way. And so, like, we linked up. For right before the first bare knuckle fight. So we've been together officially working together, like for the whole bare knuckle journey. And then recently, I've added another coach, whose name's Jason Waldingson, and he is just Jason Ingwaldson. Jason Ingwaldson. It's a weird ass last name.
That's
like
all right.
Jason Ingwaldson. Anyway, and that guy's a dude. I don't know. I just got so lucky with him. Like this guy's like an animal. He was a 1997 Junior Olympic champion. He won the national open title at the age of 17, and then like some injuries happened. He wasn't able to compete anymore, and so now he's a coach. And he was like a friend of a friend who like linked us up, and now like, oh man, he really leveled up our whole corner because now Adam can learn from him, I can learn from him, and it's just like a whole nother element. So I'm really excited to show an even better version, a more evolved version of myself come this next fight.
Excellent. Well, here we come Friday night, Joey. A lot of great fights on there, like you said. Is there anyone on that card that interests you maybe in the future? Is there anyone maybe on this card that can challenge you for that title? What's your thoughts on that? And what do you think Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship has to bring in to challenge you for that belt?
I mean, there's a couple. Actually, there's like a few big heavyweights, a couple local boys. So over there, there'll probably be some good ticket sellers, and Mississippi's definitely one of our go-to spots. So it would make sense if they can get. They kind of had their, their BKFC's version of Stipe Miocic, the hometown boy, firefighter, and Chase Sherman. But he didn't work. It didn't work out so good for him. And so now, I mean, who knows? One guy that pops up in my head just as I watched a couple of his videos is Teddy Webster. He's a big old heavyweight. He has a couple of pro boxing fights. There's another guy who's an MMA guy who's like 10-2. I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. But definitely I have my eye on all those guys because, for whatever reason, the people, You know, Shannon Briggs he just talks, he just runs his mouth, he just does it for the clickbait. He just does it for the likes and the comments. You know, so that guy ain't fucking fighting. And Mike Tyson's already publicly come out and said that he's gonna fight with gloves. So I mean, yeah, man. I really don't care. I was unfortunate. I was really looking forward to Mark Godbeer, but you know he's got to retire, and I really think that like coronavirus is gonna retire a lot of people. Like it sucks. It sucks because if you're like maybe like on the regional level or like even like amateur, like looking to become pro, and then boom, all of a sudden you're hit with the freaking 4 or 5 month roadblock. Like it's really hard to come by unless you're like. I was talking to some of the kids that we train. I was like, fuck that shit, man. You get to the island, you burn those fucking ships. You get to the island, you burn the ships. There is no plan B. There is no fucking plan B. You know? Excellent. That's my outlook on things. But, you know, easier said than done. I get it. You know, people have to go to work and I don't like it's just all kinds of shit, man. The unemployment. It's funny how they re-shut down society, but they didn't extend that unemployment.
Yeah,
There's gonna be a lot of hungry people in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, they'll have to do something. They're gonna have to do something to accommodate the people still. But Joey, what is your timeline? I mean, we have this fight on Friday. I don't know when is the next event scheduled?
April 21st in Wichita, Kansas.
April. Wait. April?
I'm sorry. August 21st.
All right, I was gonna say, holy cow, man. So is that the time frame? Is that what you're looking for to get right back in there?
I'm getting ready for that.
Yeah.
If that show happens, I'm fighting on it. I'm fighting on that show.
Do you think
if I gotta buy my own plane ticket and fight someone in the parking lot, I'm fighting on that show.
Awesome, my man. Last question, my man. Bare knuckle is the only other sport fighting other than the UFC as far as the fighting game, unless you're, you know, overseas somewhere. Where do you see bare knuckle? And I mean, you've been in the fighting game a long time. You've fought for a few organizations. You've seen how organizations grow and how they fail. What's your outlook on Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship? And what do you think draws the crowd into it that it's grown so much in just a little over 2 years?
I mean, honestly, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know who David Feldman has. He obviously has a phenomenal team, but like, they're doing it. They're doing it right over there. They're killing it, man. And if it wasn't for coronavirus, like we were like on schedule to have a fight every month this year, and we were gonna do it. And this is gonna be our year to bust out. And it very well still can be. It very well still can be. We can you know right the ship this last half of the year. And I mean it's just honestly it's about the fighters. It's the performances they put on. It's the highlight reels. You know, it's like the Artem Lobov and Jason Knight fights. It's like Caleb Harris's knockout. You know, Jim Aller's knockout. Like, you know, and that's just, you know, we're just going out there and just putting it out, laying it on the line and putting it on the show. You know, it's just like it's real simple, man. 2 + 2 = 4. If you put on exciting fights, people will watch.
Awesome, my man. Well, last thing, my friend, give your shout outs. Who you want to thank? I know you mentioned coaches, but you probably had a few people behind the scenes getting you ready from when you know, they call your number to defend that title. Shout out everything you need to shout out, brother, and we'll let you get on your way and rest.
Yeah, definitely want to shout out my longtime sponsor for various companies, mentor and good friend Hans Molenkamp, Triumph United, Monster Hydro, my boy Jake Smith and Nat Fit San Diego Supplements, taking care of my body, making sure I'm all fueled up. Chill Spot Cryotherapy in Vista, California, and Lamp Botanicals out in Carlsbad, California. My boy Marshall and Luke. Those are my guys from my hometown of Carlsbad. So, oh my bad. And Danny Montijo, DM Buildings. It's awesome, man. Like, really cool. This last fight, like, I'm getting out. My sponsors are like my boy, like people that are my homies that I partied with in high school that now like own companies.
Yeah.
Like, we want to support. So it's awesome.
Excellent.
It's awesome.
And then you have Bare Knuckle that let you have the banners. You can support these local companies that are behind you, so you can give back. It's a great wonderful thing for fighters. A whole nother sport for crossovers for fighters coming out of MMA. I have one more last question for you, Joey. I do believe you fought an MMA fight in between the Bare Knuckle, last 5 fights. You traveled to Russia. What was that like, jumping right back into MMA after just going stand-up for like 2 or 3 fights?
Well, the thing is like, like I mentioned earlier, I have a real close relationship with Gio Martinez over at 10th Planet Oceanside. I mean, I met Gio when literally he was just a breakdancer that was a white belt, and then so I've known him the whole journey. Like we've been good friends. And so, like, it's kind of like an open door policy with me. Like, and I just go in there and I'll jump right into the deep end and roll with the black belts, and I'll get tapped. But like, usually, like leading up to that fight, I was like, okay, if I can go with these black belts and go the whole 7-minute round and not get tapped, I'll be all right with anybody they got in fucking Russia. So I just did that and just kept staying on my stand up and just fucking jumped into the deep end on the mats over here at 10th Planet. And I just went out and fought.
and you come away with a win. You get back to Bare Knuckle. You fucking you win the title. I don't think you lost a fight in 2019. You're on a roll, my friend.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, man, to like turn that around at the age of 37, now 38. So I'm excited. I'm just rolling with it.
Excellent, my man. Well, I can't wait for this Friday's card to see some of them heavy winners in there, and maybe in the coming weeks after this card, there'll be some big news about an opponent for you. And, we can talk again about you getting ready to defend that title, my friend.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I almost forgot. Yeah, the reason why I had that big turnaround, I have to give a shout out to my mental coach, the mental sensei, Caleb Rogers, man. That guy's fucking really, like, rewind a little bit. Like, I went through a divorce. I went through some really rough times, and he helped me, like, process that, keep my mind on task, keep sober throughout, and like really stay on task and really like look at the fight for what it is. Okay, what is the goal? What is our physical goal? What is our mental goal? How are we going to dismantle this opponent? How are we going to dominate? And it's been working, man. We're 4-0 together, so keep doing
Excellent. It. Well, you're firing on all cylinders. You got a childhood friend that's coaching you. You got a new coach that you added in there. Man, glad to see it. You're a great dude, man. You're an ambassador of the sport. You've been there since almost the beginning with the UFC and MMA in general, since 2007 or earlier, dude, man. You're doing it, and I'm glad you're having great success in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. Can't wait to see you defend that title, Joey, and talk to you again real soon.
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you for having me on.
All right, my man. You have a good night.
You too, brother.